Okay, so this is the SIS homepage, and it's kind of in the PowerPoint slides as well. All you need is the URL. So your dealer users, and that's all that we're offering SIS2 access for right now, is dealer users and internal CAT people. So all you need to do is know this URL, and then you can log in. We highly recommend that you use Google Chrome. That is, it works quite well on a mobile platform. So iPhones, Android devices, etc., works pretty well. On a laptop or a desktop, Chrome is your best bet. You'll get the functionality will behave the best, the graphics will behave the best, which is a change because today in current SIS, we always recommend Internet Explorer. So if you're looking for a Microsoft browser, then Edge is kind of your choice of browsers. But again, we still truly recommend Chrome because that's where the functionality really, has less bugs and less glitches. So that's kind of an FYI on that one. And everything that I cover, by the way, we do have documented, and that's kind of one of the things I'll show you how to find. So we're right here on the landing page. And actually, I get in a hurry sometimes and I talk too quickly. So let me stop for just a second and make sure there's no questions about the project or the process or anything I've covered yet. Okay. So you're also welcome to anytime put a question in the chat. That is captured, I think, in Teams, but also Leo will try to keep an eye on it. And then if there's any follow-up items, we'll make sure to circle back and answer any questions we can't answer tonight or today for you all. But so this is the landing page. Once you use Google Chrome and you log in with that URL, this will be your landing page. There's a lot of things on here, but I kind of talked about with the intro, the releases. So we are releasing about every 3 weeks. So right now we're at release 39. So if you are curious what those changes involved, if you click here, it'll actually just show you a very short video showing the changes. So hopefully after you've attended this session, then from there on out, as the release number changes, so when 40 comes into play, then you just click on the video and then you're all caught back up. So there's that way of catching up or seeing changes. You can also attend, we have a monthly webinar. We do them regionally. And so it's actually the same time, it's just the second Tuesday of every month. And so you can attend those if you just want a demo of the changes. And then that's also kind of an open forum feedback session as well. We have quick start guides and training videos and FAQs. So how I had talked about, you need to use Google Chrome. Those FAQs that we have available, those include the technical as well as maybe some of the functional things. So wherever you see those blue highlight items, that'll take you to some additional information. And then feedback. So another really important part of this process that I kind of talked about was the feedback. Everything we've done so far is dealer driven, and we capture the feedback in a lot of ways. Some of it's from dealer visits. So Leo goes around to a lot of the dealers in his region and still is, quite honestly. Excuse me. But our other consultants, and we have one in Europe, kind of they've got the Europe, Africa, and then we've got an Americas one, and they do a lot of traveling as well. So we capture that feedback, but we also capture everything from under your username. If you go to click on that, there's a feedback button. So one of two things will happen. If you click on it and your email client will work with it, it'll just pop open an email for you. If it doesn't do that because your email client maybe isn't compatible, then you can just right click and you can copy that email address and just send us a note. This comes directly to our team. So this is the SIS 2.0 team. We capture our goal here is to capture functionality changes. So if their data changes, ideally it's best to just go back to current SIS and put that feedback in there. And the reason I say that is the data between SIS2 and current SIS is the same. So that's what's the other thing that's kind of unique is that we're able to give you production data, meaning you can use this system in your daily work. But if you're not finding what you need or you're not feeling very efficient, it's okay to go back to current SIS. The thing that we would ask is tell us what happened. What happened to make you go back to current SIS and send us that information in the feedback. So that kind of covers the announcements area, and really this is just hopefully a quick guide on, how to learn, how to get a hold of us, and what options for communication are available to you and what materials. So the second tab, the what's new, so that's where I had said we're releasing every 3 weeks. So we'll have a link to the video for the current release in here as well. But then kind of there's the text explanation of all of the changes. And this will go back several releases. So you can see, if you look at these dates, there's a lot of changes happening really fast. So again, that's kind of why we're trying to make ourselves available so that because there is such a high rate of change, we understand that it could be a little bit overwhelming at times. So hopefully every type of communication is available to you, and we'll just continue to enhance that and improve and offer as much as need be. And then the final tab is the coming soon. And so I had said we're not done yet, and we definitely know we're not done yet. So these are the things that are really in flight. These are the things that we're working on actively. You'll see there are not dates. As a general rule, we will not give out dates. And part of that is because of the rate of change. It's quite possible maybe we're working on something right now, and we're pretty sure it's going to happen in our next release. But if there's any little thing that goes wrong, we may have to abandon that change and try again our next release. But the good news is you're not waiting 6 months or a year for changes. It's just 3 weeks. So we typically won't announce something is available until it's there, which is also a little bit different than typical project processes with CAD applications. But a lot of this really has to do with, delivering on what we promise. And because we don't know dates, we don't want to give a promise that we can't keep. And then, kind of keeping that commitment to you that your feedback is what we're going to listen to and what we're going to work from. All right. So questions on any of that stuff right now? Okay. So kind of the next step, and it kind of goes along with this announcements tab, is so not only can you get a hold of the training and the feedback from this announcements page, but under the drop down, so I kind of showed you the feedback, but you can also launch training from here as well. And that's just going to land you in our SharePoint site. And you'll have to log in. If you have any trouble logging in, just send us a note and let us know. But hopefully everything that you would want to know or see will be available. So you'll see there's training documents, additional service information, links. There's actually quite a bit of information out here, and there's different tabs to take you to different places. So back from the main page, and you'll see it's always going to open a new tab for you so you don't lose your landing page. So kind of the next, item here on this landing page is, and I think hopefully specifically for our audience here, we do have the ability to change the language. So right now I'm defaulted into English, but I could switch it to, let's go Chinese. And you'll see some of the information is translated, but not everything yet. That will continue to evolve and continue to improve over time. So, kind of keep watching for those changes and let us know what you think on those. And I'm going to go back to English because I cannot read Chinese. I'm sure Leo would make me look quite silly. He could probably demo this fabulously in Chinese.
Thank you. Yeah, I just update that we gotta have things. I noticed that we have some participants from the Japan. I just notify that we gotta have the Japanese translation as well coming soon.
Yes, absolutely. Great point. So right now, that's a great point to bring up. Right now, the languages that you see are pretty much identical to what you see in SIS today. The additions that we'll have coming will be Russian and Japanese. So again, I don't have a time frame on those, but those are very actively being worked. So we're pretty excited about that. The old SIS web platform did not allow for Japanese at all. So that's pretty exciting. And I know, we've definitely wanted to do that for a very, very long time. So good point on that one. The other thing on the landing page here is this chain icon. So this drop down will give you a couple of different things. So number one, if you want to go look up service software files, flash files, trim files, etc., if you click on this, it's going to launch a new page. And yes, it is old SIS, but at least it's there. And so again, we know we're not done. We certainly want to improve this experience, but it's just to try to help keep you in SIS2 and not have to go back and forth. This is kind of a first attempt at helping that. And again, it always will open in a second tab, so you don't have to lose where you're at. The other thing on this is the additional service information links. So a lot of you may on current SIS today call them view more links, but those favorites kind of over on the left-hand bottom side. So this is also going to take you to a SharePoint page. And this is all of your links, but it also has some content owners and support contacts. So hopefully, if these are links that you like to use, you'll find that this page is helpful, but all those same links are there. So we didn't lose that. It's just kind of in a different spot. Excuse me. I think I have a little bit of allergies going on here. Okay, so, and then the final thing on the main page here that I kind of wanted to point out up in the header bar here is this newspaper icon. So for those of you that like the new information, if you click on this, it basically will launch a search. And it's telling you that 145 documents have been delivered in the last 7 days. So this is very similar in current SIS to your new information section. You can filter them by information type, so service letter, schematic, etc. So it's really kind of an indicator of those, documents that have been published.
Cassie, I have a short question on this latest news. Is there
Sure.
any possibility that we can enlarge this, like the time frame, like kind of extend the time frame? Maybe like a month. Can we do that?
Um, Actually, that has been a request. We've heard a little bit here and there, and I would say, especially for the dealer community, Leo, and those of you online, if you're interested in that, let us know. So
Okay.
definitely send that through the feedback. I've heard it a couple times, and it may be something that kind of bubbles up. So for those of you on the line, right now we're just showing for 7 days, but maybe you want to know what's new for the last 14 days. And I think
Yeah.
that we could implement this custom range. And if that's something you guys are interested in, go over to that little feedback and drop down and send us that note. Definitely something we want to encourage as those things come up.
Sure. So is it the 7 days is like the working days or the calendar days? So
Calendar
weekend
days.
calendar days. Okay, good.
Yep. So calendar days, but knowing there's not much being published on a weekend,
Uh,
but there does occasionally get stuff published on a weekend. So it's calendar days.
mm-hmm. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Yep.
Mm.
Okay. So the other kind of little note here is this cat icon. over here in the left-hand side. That's your home button. So if you just want to go back to the home page, that's always going to be there, and that's how you'll get back to your landing page. So I kind of intentionally did that because I did sort of want to start over and go through the input boxes and what navigate versus search means. But I'm going to pause for just a second and make sure there's no questions on anything I've covered yet. Okay, we will keep going. I don't want to bore anybody by all means, but I also understand if you're just listening or taking notes or anything like that. So we'll kind of go through, the next step would be search versus navigate. So I have a navigate icon and I have a search icon area. One of the cool things about SIS2 is it has the same options for input as current SIS does, but we've kind of bundled all of our search into these two boxes. So previously you had media search, advanced full text search, filter search, lots of search options, or you'd have to go to advanced full text if you wanted to not put product information in. So SIS2 actually allows you to just search with a part number. So I'm going to put a part number in. You don't have to have the dash, it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to hit search. And so 19 results, that's not too bad. In previous SIS, you would have had to obviously go to advanced full text search, select your information type, and then do a search. So that's kind of a big improvement, and that's probably one of the things that we've found that most people love, and it's a huge efficiency. I'm going to go back. I kind of wanted to show that global search example, but I'm going to kind of start through probably navigate, just to kind of, for example's sake. So I'm going to put in a full serial number. You don't have to put in a full serial number. And if I back that up, you'll notice by the time I hit my second character, I start getting an auto suggest. So the system starts kind of guessing what it is I'm entering, and it doesn't have to be a prefix. It could actually be a model. So let's put in 79. So again, you can do product family, or you could do prefix. So auto suggest is kind of the alternative to the find. So in SIS today, there's a little area underneath the product input where you can go search through the product families. And this is the alternative, hopefully faster alternative to that. But for my example, I'm going to put in my full serial number. I put MLN 500 and then hit navigate. So navigate is kind of a combination. It's a combination of as shipped if it's available, or we're going to actually call it product configuration now. And then it also sort of gives you your product structure and your document structure together. So if you think about navigate, it's really kind of your book structure, I guess, essentially. So I have all of my parts information related to this particular book. But if I wanted to look at a different book, I can click on that and change it. And then it's actually going to change the systems that I have available, but it's going to keep my product configuration or my as shipped page. The other thing is here's my document structure. So next to parts tab, my service tab. And this will show all the service information that's available to me. And that's kind of your document structure. If you find you're maybe in here and you're not seeing enough information, there's some little buttons here and there that'll kind of help, give you a little bit of extra space to see or not see something. But that's kind of the overview of this page. Now, there's a lot more that this page does. So the reason I put in a full serial number is because, again, if you have a full serial number, and we do have as shipped or the product configuration information, we will display it. If we don't have it, then this page will kind of be blank and you'll just have your structure over here. So everything blue is clickable throughout the system. If it's blue, it's either going to take you somewhere or it's going to give you more information. So just know, don't be afraid to click around. go ahead and see, what it does. So on my product configuration page or my as shipped page, this is very similar to what you'd see in SIS today. And then if you scroll down, you can see um, the supplemental serial numbers or the component level captive serial numbers. And then if there's an engine, we bring that information over as well. Another feature that's definitely new and hopefully you'll find helpful is there's links to PIP, SIMSI, and TMI. So this is really just hopefully an added bonus. So if you're interested if MLN has active service letters and you click on this link, it's going to open a new tab in PIS. It's going to bring that serial number over so you don't have to enter it a second time and then show you applicable service letters. You never lose this page, so that's nice. You can go back. Same thing with SIMSI. It's going to launch the SIMSI page with your serial number information from your SIS page. And then same thing with TMI. So we know that those are areas outside of SIS that all of you use today. And so we're just trying to kind of give less clicks. Essentially at the end of the day, we want to make it faster for you to get to what you're looking for. Or if you can't find what you're looking for, at least faster to start a new search. So that's kind of what those do. And kind of just like SIS is today, you can click up and down in the systems and the components throughout the structure and look for information. But you can also, select off of your as shipped page. And so for this one, I'm going to go ahead, I think, and pick. I had a part number chosen that I kind of really liked off of here. So this cylinder and lines group, I'm going to go to it. So I kind of chose this example just because it has a lot of the elements that I want to make sure to cover. So when you get into a parts page, you still have your service tab. So at any time, you can go over and look at your service information. And let's go ahead and just pop one in there. But you can always go back to your parts. You're not going to lose this page. So that back and forth navigation hopefully kind of makes things a little bit easier. So in the parts page, you've got your graphic, pretty standard. You've got the hot pointing, which, again, is pretty standard with the same as what you've got with current SIS. Some of the differences, though, you'll find is that number one, we have related service articles. So next to your parts tab, if you click on articles, these are the articles that are specific to this hydraulic system for this product. So instead of having to go over maybe and digging through all of your document structure to look for a particular article, you can actually go back to your parts page and get a lower level view of what's available. So to launch these, there's two options. If I click here on the actual title, you'll see that it actually takes me over to my my service tab and it opens that article. I'm going to click back because the back button works, which is pretty exciting for any of you that painfully have to deal with current SIS back button not working. The other option, though, if you don't click on the title, this little outward arrow means it always opens a new tab. So now you can actually launch this page outside of this area of your parts page. So the hope here is there's lots of ways to navigate, and we know, so you can kind of see my tabs are stacking up. We know that our dealer users like to have lots of things open because you have lots of things going on, you're doing a lot of research, and so being able to have a lot of things open is really important, and that's why that's an option just about everywhere you go in the system at this point. Okay. So the other thing on this page to kind of point out is where used. So this is basically telling me that this cylinder and lines group is also used in two other D8s, prefix FCT, and obviously MLN, which is what we're in today. This list can be pretty big at times, but the hope is that specifically for those of you that are looking to know maybe what part is compatible or similar, this can be really helpful. So I would say kind of the next thing on this page, and then I'll kind of pause for a minute, is the navigation of up and down the structure. So again, anything blue, if you click on it, it'll take you somewhere or it'll show you something more. So in SIS today, if there's a lower level part such as this one, you can always click on it and go down in the structure. But what you couldn't do was go back up. And so previously, you'd have to copy that part number and then reinitiate a search. You don't have to do that anymore. Anything that is blue highlighted will take you back up in that structure. Okay, a lot of information in a really short amount of time. And I have lots more to cover, but I want to pause just in case there were any questions or comments. Leo, how's my pace? Am I going too quickly or?
It's good. Perfect.
Okay. Okay.
I have a question actually.
Sure.
Talking about this, the left-hand side, the drop-down list on the parts book. What is the parts book by default like popping up? So what kind of logic behind it? Like it seems that you have multiple parts book out there. So why this one pop?
It's actually random. That's a great question. So right now it's random. Ideally, and we're starting to get the dealer feedback to support it, we would like the standard parts manual to show up as the default. These other ones typically are supplemental books. So this one, it says the winch attachment has its own book. Sometimes on some of the excavators, you'll find there'll be like custom arrangements that are out there as a supplemental book. So great question. And that's another one that I think the dealer feedback is starting to drive. So that's another one. Encourage that feedback that if the default really is, if it's important for the default to be the standard parts manual, that, we definitely want to hear that.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Good question. Another really good one. Okay. So I'm going to go actually back to the main page because I want to cover navigate. Or I'm sorry, search. I just covered navigate. So we're going to go ahead and search. I'm going to use that same serial number, but instead of hitting navigate, I'm going to hit search. So the difference between what I previously did with navigate versus what is here in search is this is a lot like your advanced full text search or adding in your filter search, your media search. Any of these things, kind of everything else is combined here. So I put an MLN 500, but I can take that out and your media number. So let's go SE, try that guy. So you can do a media number search as well. So again, anything that you previously used in all of those varying search options, that's your second field here. But your first field is always kind of dedicated to your product information. Let's go back to my MLN search. Okay, so as this page loads, so again, I put in a full serial number, and because I do have an as shipped or a product configuration, that's always going to be the top item on your list, so you can still get there. It's basically going to take you right back to navigate. Let's go back because we want to talk about search. There's a lot of things you can do on this page. You can use quick filters. So if I only care about parts information, you can use this quick filter. And you'll notice it took my 5,000 results down to 1,100. Maybe I only care about articles. And so that took my 5,000 results down to 3,000. And then publications took me down to 1,500. Now, the difference, and this is kind of a point that I think is confusing for people, the difference between an article and a publication. A publication is the whole book. So if you think about a book that has chapters. So if I want to look at the entire OMM, I'm gonna want to choose my publication filter. But maybe I only care about the maintenance section of the OMM. That's when I would choose articles. So if you think about it, and some of the publications we put out there are only articles. Service letters, for example, is really only an article. Unfortunately, until we can get some filtering going, it'll actually show twice. So it'll show as an article and a publication because what we don't want to do is hide it. So so just kind of be aware of that. But especially as training people, this might be a point of confusion for those that are curious. So wanted to make sure to cover that. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm going to kind of go back and take all of my filters out and kind of reset everything here. So you do have other things besides your quick filters. You can filter by your information type. There's more of those. So if you're interested, you can just scroll away. You can actually filter by system. So this is your product structure systems, and then also SMCS codes. You can also do some custom date ranges. You can do last 7 days, things like that. You can select multiple and then apply, or you can do applying one at a time. It's really kind of your choice. Go engine news. So one of the biggest changes in the search for SIS2 is that it's kind of opposite of what SIS does. So SIS today has you give very refined information and then gives you a very refined result set. SIS2 gives you very broad information and then has you as the user filter it down to what's applicable. So we felt like this was a little bit better experience because then you know everything that's available to you and you don't have to start over. And these filters, you can clear them. So, there's lots of little buttons around there that hopefully make just the navigation in general a little bit easier. So a couple more items on this search page. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and just filter to my parts. So similar to SIS, if there is a picture attached to the part that you're looking for, you can see a preview of it on the search page. And then so you click on it to open it, and then you click on it to close it. But if you want to see all of them, this is what that little show all icons or show all images icon does. And then you can also close them all at once. Another thing you can do, so what we're showing you today as far as what's at the top and what's on page 23 is relevance. So based on what you put in, the system sort of runs an algorithm and says, this is what's relevant to you. And if I put a keyword in with my serial number, I might have different results because maybe that result was more relevant. But that's the default setting. Now, if you want to change that, you can actually click here and you can change your sorting order. So the first time, I'm actually going to get my newest information coming to the top. Next click is going to give oldest information. And then the next click takes me back to my default, which is relevance. So there's a lot of things that you can do here. Don't hesitate to just click around and see what you think. You certainly can't break it. And if you do, please let us know. That's a good thing. Break it now so that we can fix it and make things, easier for everybody else. Okay. Questions on all of that or any of that? Okay. I'm going to keep going. So I'm going to go back to one of the parts pages that I had kind of picked out because it's got, again, some pretty good examples in it of some items that are important to look for. So you can see I had my serial number, but I also put in a part number. So we're going to go to that. So alternate. So alternates, if you click on this, it'll give you an alternate buying option, essentially, or an alternate part. And that includes reman, classic parts, kits, whatever we happen to have available, it'll show in here. And part of that is too, so that, if you wanted to be able to price check. So maybe you have a price conscious customer and they want to know, can I get, this is too expensive. I can't afford that. Maybe you can give them a reman option or a yellow mark option. So if you have price and availability and you click on this, it'll actually return that for you. So you'll see it's starting to load that. Mine is fake test data, so it won't give me probably very good information, but you kind of get the idea. If there's a cart icon, so this means it's serviceable. If there is no cart icon, like this axle group, it means that this part is not serviced by itself. But chances are, if you go down to the breakdown, it does have parts within it that are serviced. So in previous SIS, it was the difference between italicized or not. That's what indicated serviced or not serviced. Here, if there's no icon, it's not serviced. Okay. So I'm going to go and I have another part picked out that I want to show. Grab this one. So you kind of notice here, I looked for this part number and then you see this green. So that's telling you it's on the as shipped page or the product configuration page. So if those come up in your search results, that's what it's relevant to. So that means this part is also in here. So it's a direct reflection of the invoice. So let's go to an engine arrangement. So engine arrangements have a tendency to be, whoops, wrong system. I'm going to actually go back to my invoice page. I want to go down to this engine arrangement because there's a specific example. So I kind of showed you alternate parts down in the consist, but there may also be alternates at the entire group level. So kind of don't overlook these. So here it shows the 3 Rayman options for this engine arrangement. But additionally, there's a bunch of kits available for this engine arrangement. So these are, you'll find these at top level arrangements where they actually apply to maybe an entire configuration. And like anything else in the system, if it's blue, it'll either take you somewhere or show you more information. So if you click on a kit part number, it'll open it up and show you what that kit comes with. Okay. Lots and lots of info for there. Any questions so far? Okay. So I want to go back to service articles for a minute.
Okay, so I think I saw a question from the chat.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I think it's from Megan. So in
Okay.
MPR, you can search a specific part number to view the progression of the part should user search for a specific part. Oh, that's
That
quite okay.
awesome. Thank you for asking, Megan. You literally did the best segue ever. That was my next. That was my next item for topic. So I kind of tend to leave it towards the end because it's very difficult for me to explain. There we go. Okay. So this part, I apologize, that took so long and all the clicking. So this part number, the 197-8885. In NPR, if you were to click on the NPR icon in your parts list or search it, this would be your history. Obviously, it can get very complicated and you can have multiple levels, but the asterisk is going to indicate your latest part, your 560 0886. So the other areas that we've heard that the dealers need from NPR is sometimes the information in there will include a media number. So that media number, you can go out and read it and see if there's any information in there applicable to this change. The problem with what you have in SIS today, let me just kind of show you something, is that if I go to NPR and search that same part number, it is true that it shows me here's my latest part number, which is that one that I have over here, this 560. And then it also shows me this book. So if I click on this book, it'll open up this procedure to install. You notice it's not telling me what product this applies to. So it may or may not apply to the SND if that's what I happen to put in. So what we did instead of replicating that exactly is we added the service articles. So these service articles are representative of all information that's applicable, but it should also include anything that pertains to the book that's indicated back in that NPR page. I was hoping it would work, the back button. Just now I'm getting used to the back button working, so SIS doesn't like me anymore. So kind of to reiterate what and this, again, this is so hard for me to explain. NPR does not have context. It's not product specific information. It's just saying this part number changed to this part number. And here is a book that has information about that change. But what it's not saying is what product that change applies to, because it's possible that it applies to an off-highway truck and a track type tractor, but it may not. So in SIS 2, we really wanted to give more specific applicable information. Does that make sense? I know that is something I really struggle to explain. Megan, was that helpful at all? Sorry. I know that's a tough one.
So, Megan, she's asking if the service article applies to a specific machine.
Yes. So here, this only applies to this product right here.
Okay.
Yep. So
and
it's definitely.
can user then go to where used to see what machines those same articles are valid for?
Yes. So if you go to where used,
Mm-hmm.
you can see that here are the other products. Now, if you go to this product and click on its service articles, they may be the same or they may be different, but those are specific for this product.
Okay.
Did that answer the question okay? So kind of back to, I know we're not done and we know we're not done. If there are ideas on how to improve any of this, let us know. We struggle with this particular area because we're trying to take data and give it applicability that it doesn't already have. And we're also trying to show comparisons that we didn't previously have. So it's definitely complicated. And what we don't want to do is just assume we know what you're asking for and kind of go off and do it. So we're taking really small incremental steps in this space in particular. But really good question, and appreciate you bringing that up. So the other part, I think, to your question that I probably have not answered yet was, can you search for that part number? Sorry, go ahead.
I think Megan, she's asking how to explain improved navigating. Yeah, sounds like it will be more specific.
Yes.
I know technician like to see all the machines that match media. Okay.
Okay. So if that's the case, I guess, are you asking to be able to search information on, you know what, I've got a thought here. Let's try this. So let's go and put in REHS 1832.
Are you able to hear me at all?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Great. Sorry. Just
okay.
finding a better location. So I guess what I'm looking for is I've had technicians or RTCs rather, as they're starting to pilot SIS 2.0, sometimes they're searching, right, the issue that they're running into is with a specific machine or serial number. And what they're doing is they're searching for that, but then sometimes that rolls into issues with other machines. And so they tend to start with one specific machine, but they like to understand what that same maybe replacement of that part, how does that translate to other machines as well? So that's why I was asking whether there was a connection between the service articles and the where used, being that the service articles are specific to that machine.
Gotcha. Okay. So if they have a particular article or a media, so I have a media number here.
Mm-hmm.
However, you don't have to just search media number. Let's look at this bench test real quick. So this is kind of a little trick that might be helpful. This is called a control number. It's specific to this article.
Okay.
You can actually search this. I can grab it. Okay. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go back, and let's paste that into the search. Okay. So it comes up, that one article up here in this drop down. It says refined by product, and it shows you all of the top level products that are available.
Oh, I see. Okay. Can you repeat that just once more? I think my screen cut out a little bit, but from the copying of that.
Yeah, no problem.
Difference.
So, and quite honestly, that's new 3 or 4 days ago.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, that's how fast things are happening, I'm telling you. So I went to this control number.
Yep.
And I copied it. And then I just went back and I did a search. And then from this page up here, this gray bar kind of changes. Refined by product. And that'll show you all the product. That one shows up in a lot. Probably most are not that broad. I think I probably picked a safety article or something, but and then you can kind of see if you want to go to a lower level, and you can get all the way down to the sales model.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Yeah, I think it was just sort of a work through, because right, one question starts with one machine, and then that sort of sometimes leads to, I guess, other cans of worms, as I like to describe it. And they're just trying to work through how to find those, I think, because they like the ability to see what's applicable for that specific machine, but they also like to understand if that's going to impact other machines. So I think I think that works great to use that to find that information.
Perfect. Yeah, and that's pretty much exactly the scenario that we've heard. Is, hey, there's a problem. You know, we get it identified that there's a problem with this machine, but we know that, you know, the other one has been acting similarly, and does it also apply? Or can I go to a different product and maybe find even a little bit more information? So there's all those scenarios where they're kind of funneling through different product lines. And that's kind of exactly why this was created.
Absolutely. And then when they're searching for a specific part, I guess I'm thinking in terms of NPR, right? It's just sort of a one field feature, and then the results are pretty, as you showed before, right? It's one screen that shows you sort of the breakdown and that change in part numbers if it's applicable. with the demo that you provided before, where you simply use the search function to search out that part and then clicking on that eye icon, that's the best way to see that progression today, correct?
It is.
Okay.
The next step will be adding this into the search.
Okay.
So keeping in mind that everything is an incremental, but we're waiting to hear the feedback on that.
Okay.
So again, if that's something, your users feel strongly about, tell them to make sure they let us know, because these can get awfully long, right? I mean, this is simple. This can have 6 changes. And I think we've heard quite a bit that probably one of those changes needs to be able to be searched.
Well, that sounds great. I think I was just curious. When I think about if I'm searching out a part, going back to SysWeb, right? You're not picking a specific, I guess, component, or you're not diving into the deep level behind on the screen in order to find that information. So I was just curious if that existed sort of as a function on its own. But nope, that sounds great as how it is now, and I'll kind of bring that back and see if they have a different perspective on that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and I think just as an example's sake, so Reman, Yellow Mark, and Kids are searchable today. So I'm going to show you, I believe, and this is us. We never make promises, right, Leo? But ideally, if that search history was available right now, it would probably look something like this. So you search for it, and we say, I can't find it, but it might be in here.
Okay.
Or it might be, that's kind of the thought behind it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Let's see here. I actually only have just a couple more items. So shopping cart. So let's cover that one really quickly. And I don't know how much you guys train the shopping cart, but it's always good to know. So you can add all your parts. I'm going to do that just for demo sake, but you can add individuals, you can change your quantity, etc. But once you create a cart, you can view it up here, and it'll kind of keep incrementing those values as you add stuff. But you can click on the cart icon to view it. So huge caveat here, huge caveat, I cannot stress this enough. If you close this browser right now, you'll lose your cart. We just don't have the administration built in yet. We definitely have that coming, the cart saving very, very soon, because we don't want people losing, 70, 80 part number shopping carts. So if your users are using this and they are creating carts, tell them don't close that browser until you have done something with this cart. And your options are to order it. So you can order the part if they're currently integrated with Part Store or PCC, it'll go there. If they're not, the other options are to download it. So you can export it to CSV, which opens in Microsoft Excel, or export to XML, which is that technical format that imports back into SysWeb today. And then the final option is to print it. And so when you do that, you can get a really ugly printed copy, or you could actually just copy it all and paste it into something. But until we have all of the saving and the integrations in place, it just always terrifies me that somebody's going to spend 2 hours creating a parts list and then lose it. So don't close that browser until you capture that cart somehow. Let's see here. What else was I going to note on the cart? So integrations are definitely coming soon. The ability to send it to your business system or work order system, whatever it is that you specifically have at your dealer. We're actually starting to test with a dealer now. So I don't know what that looks like as far as time frame goes, but the good news is it's getting closer. Okay. Questions, I guess. I think there was a couple more things I wanted to maybe cover, and it was more kind of, reminder stuff, but questions on anything so far? anything missing or frequent things that you wonder about. Why do we do it this way? Especially as a trainer, right? As a trainer, you probably ask the hard questions because that's what you're paid to do, and then you get the hard questions too.
I do have one additional question that I've received from some of our TCs.
Sure.
The similar parts search that exists in SysWeb, does that exist somewhere in SIS 2.0 today?
It does not, but man, is that a big one. I mean, I don't think it's on our list yet because the guy that's actually managing getting that data set and bringing it over is very passionate about making it good, current, better, usable. But it's a huge one, Megan. I'm guessing it's topping the top 5. That doesn't mean that they should stop sending us feedback. Keep sending it.
All right, that sounds good. I've had a few questions on that one. I just didn't know if it was on the list or if it needed some additional pushing, I guess.
Yeah, no, keep pushing. I'm the one that logs these in a very large spreadsheet. When I see similar parts, it makes me happy because it alleviates my carpal tunnel because Excel just picks it up. So
Perfect.
Yeah, keep sending those in. I know that's a big desire right there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other chat questions on there, Leo, that I missed?
No, we are good.
Okay. So again, material is on the announcements page. So this release number, it's always going to increment. You can look at a video. If you want to join our webinars just to hear what other dealers are saying or give your own input or see a demo, you're always welcome to join those. Training, FAQs, they're all on our web or our SharePoint site. I apologize. And then feedback. Feedback is the name of the game. I think training people have a unique opportunity to see the full picture. You kind of get to step back outside of that super crazy fast-paced role and actually ask the questions that get us to an actionable item. And so I highly encourage you that anything about the system, anything about the training, please give us that honest feedback because we're not sensitive. It won't hurt our feelings, number one. But number two, eventually this will be your role. And so let us know what we can do to make it better. Okay. I will certainly not keep anybody. I know you have other things to do, but I genuinely appreciate you calling in and your time and your input. And I always do not hesitate to reach out. Best part of our day is interacting with all of you. So honestly, it's been a really fun process. So let us know what you think. Engage with us. Leo is your regional consultant. He's also available for questions if you can't get to us quickly. I think that's it. Any other questions at all? Leo, can you think of anything you wanted to mention that I might have missed or?
I think it's pretty good and pretty comprehensive introduction already. So thanks.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, have a great rest of your days. I'm not even sure what time it is for all of you, but it's tomorrow for me. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a great rest of your day. And then let us know if you guys need anything and take care.